it's Carissa. I just wanted to show you a quick card, and I'm also going to be showing you some masking techniques. So my color palette today is going to be bordering blue, basic gray, and then this shimmery white cardstock, and then I'm also going to be using some pretty and pink accents. So let's get started. Okay, so as you can see here, I have my Fifth Avenue Floral stamp set, and I have some post-it notes. And when I first started stamping, I was a little intimidated by masking technique, but it's really simple, and I'm going to show you how. I'm just taking one of my post-it notes and sticking it here. I'm going to ink up my stamp. I just have my basic gray ink here. This is not really going to matter because this is not actually going on my card. But what I'm doing is I'm creating a template of this rose to use as a mask. So I'm just going to stamp it on my post-it note. And the reason I use a post-it is because it has this kind of removable adhesive that will help us when we are attaching it to the front to use it as a mask. So now I'm just going to cut this out with a pair of scissors, and I'm just going to cut as close to the line as I possibly can all around the edge. So once you get this mask cut out, what I like to do is the way that I actually, this can be used over and over again. And if I open this up, you'll see here that this is one that I've done before that's been used and used and used over and over again. So once you cut one out, you can save it for future use. Don't throw it away because this is kind of a tedious process, in my opinion, cutting these out. And so I want to get some miles out of them. So now that I have my template prepared here and ready to go, I can go ahead and start my stamping. And I just have my Fifth Avenue Floral Rose, and I'm just inking it up once again with basic gray ink, and I'm going to stamp it here in the corner of my shimmery white cardstock. Making sure I get a good press down in the middle. This is a bigger stamp, so you got to be a little more careful. So now what I've done is I've cleaned my stamp, I have my template here, and I have my pretty and pink ink, which is the next ink color that I'm going to be using. And what happened when I cut this template out is that I actually cut the sticky off of where it was from the post-it. So I just took my two-way glue pen, which is a really great tool to have around, and I just ran it around the edge of my rose, and that just, and I allowed it to dry, and that makes the glue removable when you allow it to dry. And so I'm just going to take my pretty and pink ink. I've placed my template over the rose that I've stamped, so I've got it all along these edges exactly where I've stamped. And I'm going to take my pretty and pink ink up my rose again, and I'm going to stamp it again over this image that's already on here. And this is where the masking comes in. This gives you an overlapped image, but these roses that I'm going to stamp now are going to appear to be behind the rose that's already on there. So I get a good impression there. I'm going to ink it up again, and I'm going to stamp it one more time up here. Just get a good impression there. And then when I remove this template, you're going to see the effect that the masking has. Just gently pulling this up. That's that double stick or the two-way glue that you're hearing lift off of there. And you see how these roses here kind of have that appearance to be behind the one main rose. It's a really cool technique. I love it, especially with these roses. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some accents with the Going Gray ink pad. And I'm just going to use this Going Gray. I'm going to squeeze it before I open it. Then I'm going to open it up and use the ink that's actually right here in this to kind of shade and border around this rose right here. So I have my blending pen here, and I'm just taking the ink directly off of this ink pad lid, and I'm just shading around the edges of this basic gray. Now I could use the basic gray ink, but I wanted a much lighter effect on this. It's just kind of going to look like a shadow as I go around the edges of this. Okay, so I finished my watercolor shadowing effect with that, and I've decided not to do the pink roses because I want this to be more of my main image. So now that I've got that all done, I'm just gonna kind of adhere this card together and get it finished up.